Hi everybody, it's Rachel. It is Monday at 8:30 and I don't know about any of you, but I'm having the Smonday feels. It's hard to believe that Sunday's already over and tomorrow is Monday and it's back to the grind for everybody. Our son actually goes to summer camp this week, all 5 days. So I've been kind of in a little bit of a chaotic state today, trying to get everything ready for him and make sure that he has exactly what he needs so that he doesn't get to camp tomorrow and not have his water bottle or his sunscreen or his hat or any of that stuff. So it's been a little bit crazy around here today, but we are finally getting settled in. My daughter is sleeping. My husband is eavesdropping in the kitchen, looking up some fun house stuff, and our son is sound asleep. So it gives me a great opportunity to jump on and share today's move of the day with you. So if you've been following along, this is our 4th edition of the StrongBoard Balance move of the day. And last Monday, the very first time I logged on, I shared a regular squat with all of you. And so tonight I'm going to take that squat and I'm going to kind of kick it up a notch, and we're going to do a move called an uneven squat. So I will demonstrate it on the floor and then I'm going to jump up on the board, very similar to how I've been doing these videos. But it's a great move, and quite frankly, it's one of the hardest ones that I've done on the board so far, and you guys will see why in a few minutes. So I'm just going to step back behind me onto the carpet. I'll show you the squat, go through all of the do's and don'ts of the move itself, and then I'm going to get up on the board and do it. So let's get right into this. So you guys know standard squat form: feet shoulder width apart, toes pointing straight together or straight ahead, chest up, shoulders back, sink down, sitting into that squat, keeping those knees directly over your toes, not leaning forward with that chest. So the positioning for the uneven squat is going to be very much the same, but when you're doing it on the floor, I guess I would call it more of a close stance squat, because your feet are still going to be on an even playing field until you get up on the board. So the positioning for this is just going to be, your feet are going to be a little bit less than shoulder width apart, toes still pointed in that same direction, straight ahead towards the wall. If they have a little bit of an outward point, that's fine, but try and keep them as straight as possible. Sinking down into the squat, very similar to how you do a standard squat, keeping those shoulders up, that back as straight as you can, not leaning forward into the squat, okay? And it's the same thing from the side. I'll just show you guys this way. Stand up nice and tall, really sink down into that squat, go as deep as you can until you start to feel your body tip forward, and stop right there. As your legs get stronger and your squat form gets better, you'll be able to go a lot lower, okay? So that's gonna be your standard form for this move. When you get up on the board, there are kind of 2 ways I found that you can get into position for this particular move. As we discussed initially, you guys want to make sure that you're constantly practicing on your board, mounting and dismounting properly. So just to recap real quick, when you're getting on the board, put that whatever foot you're stepping on with first right up against that handle, press it all the way down to the lower platform before bringing that other foot up to the other end of the board, the far end of the board against the other handle, finding your kind of stabilized point in the middle with your knees bent, okay? And as I always say, you're never going to be fully stable. So this is kind of your starting position. Always make sure that you're teeter-tottering, get back off, and then remount it back going from the other direction. And as you can see, the more you do this, the more fluid you can get on and off the board. So as I was saying, there's 2 ways that you can get into the position for the uneven squat. You can either put your foot on the far end of the board, right by the handle, press down and step right into the middle and kind of try and get yourself into position that way, or step on the board, get into your first position, which is here, and then shimmy your foot over into the center of the board. I find this maneuver to be a lot more difficult than stepping into the middle of the board initially. So get up into position, foot on the board, right against the handle, secondary foot up. And now this is going to be where you're going to squat, okay? So as you can see from where you guys are looking, this is my left side, is already dipping down back towards the lower platform. The proper way to execute an uneven squat on the StrongBoard is you actually want to put the majority of your weight on the leg that's in the center of the board over those springs, okay? So over the center of the board. And you're going to come down just like you would a standard squat and then push right back up, driving through those heels. What you're trying to avoid is this, okay? You don't want those 2 platforms to sandwich together. So you want to keep less weight on that outer foot as you sit down into the squat, and then you're going to stand right back up. So then on the other side, it's the same thing. Foot on the outer part of the board, step into the center, find that somewhat balanced position, squat down, keeping the majority of your weight on that inner leg, push back up, driving through those heels, coming back down, going back up again. So it's sort of like a surfer squat, only you're perpendicular to the board rather than parallel. I'm now going to turn my board. That was an improper dismount. Don't ever do that. That's not safe, what I just did. I'm going to turn my board so that you guys can see it from the side. And I'm going to get right back on the way that we usually do. Foot up here, right into the center. And now, as with any squat, the best way to do this is to find your focal point so you're not kind of weaving all over the place. So once you're up on the board, find that spot either on a wall in front of you, on the floor, whatever is going to help you stay steady, and sink slowly down into that squat. Okay, so as I said to you guys a week ago, I'm still getting right back into my routine, so I'm not going as low in my squats as I used to be able to, but as I progress, I'll be able to get a lot lower. I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing proper form as I go through each of these moves, rather than getting into a nice deep squat. So I'm going to come down as low as I can while keeping that back up nice and straight, and then I'm going to press up through my heels, standing back up. Don't lock out your knees at the top, okay? Keep a slight bend in them as you squeeze your glutes at the top. So that's on the right side, and then to do it from the left, get your feet into position and squat down, really squeezing on that inner leg as you come up, right back down, and back up to the top. And as with any of your routines, do as many sets and reps as you would with any other exercise. I typically do your standard 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions on each exercise, or each move, I should say. This particular one, you guys are going to love. It's much more challenging than the standard squat, and you can really feel it on that inner leg. So that is today's move of the day. That is your uneven squat. For those of you that haven't been following along, please head on over to StrongBoardBalance.com. Check out the various boards that they have, the different colors, the different sizes. And if you do purchase one, make sure to type in RNF at checkout and you will get free shipping. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, here on Facebook, on Twitter, and to keep up with all the latest and greatest StrongBoard information and fun stuff. So that's it for me tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic start to your week. I'll be back Tuesday night. We're moving into upper body and core for next week. So make sure to tune in, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a good one. Bye.